Am I the a-hole for being furious that my daughter used my car to drive my ex-husband to a family dinner, and that my family has been socializing with him behind my back? I married my former husband in 1998 after meeting him while he was serving in the army. I followed him to Germany, back to the United Kingdom, and back to Germany again. We were married for 15 years and had our daughter in 2001. She is now 24. In 2007, I returned to the United Kingdom to start nursing training. He stayed behind and had multiple affairs. We separated, and I raised our daughter completely on my own. I worked full-time agency shifts as a healthcare assistant while studying full-time at university with no financial help from him. He eventually left the army and worked overseas, meaning most of his earnings were not traceable by the child support agency. All they could take was £52 a month from his army pension. We had no property, just army housing. He took his car, and I kept the furniture I had paid for. I could not afford a solicitor and did not claim benefits, even though I was paying full rent. Despite his terrible treatment, I never stopped him from seeing our daughter. They have always had a relationship, and I respected that. But I have not seen him in person in nearly a decade. As far as I'm concerned, he is dead to me. I have worked hard to move on. A couple of weekends ago, he came to visit our daughter and stayed at a travelodge. Her car had broken down, so she asked to borrow mine for work. She is a dog walker. I said yes. My car has an Apple AirTag in it, and I noticed it was parked at the travelodge. I asked her what she was doing. She said she was just dropping off gifts to her dad, then going to her birthday dinner with her grandparents. I asked if her dad was going, and she said no. That would be awkward. Later, I saw she was at the restaurant. The next day, we had lunch with my dad and stepmom. When they arrived, they casually said how lovely it had been to have dinner the night before with my daughter and my former husband. I was shocked. My daughter lied and used my car to take my ex to a dinner with my family, the same man who left me to struggle alone and treated me like nothing. I confronted my daughter and during the argument found out this was not even the first time. A few years ago, my dad, stepmom, and sister apparently had my daughter, my former husband, and his new wife over for dinner. I had no idea. I confronted my dad, and he said it was all water under the bridge. But is it? Is it really? Because it does not feel like water under the bridge to me. It feels like betrayal. I feel disrespected by my daughter for lying and using my car, and completely disregarded by my own family for choosing to break bread with someone who abandoned and mistreated me. So, am I the a-hole? Should I just let it go like my dad says, or am I right to be hurt and angry? Edit, it is not about her relationship with her dad. That is fine. It is the fact she had him in my car and my parents entertained him. How would you feel if your parents were having cozy dinners with your ex and his new wife? Why were you not at your daughter's birthday dinner with your dad and stepmom? Would I be the a-hole for not letting a friend check out an open room at my place because they currently have bed bugs? The title pretty much says it all. I had a friend reach out to me today because they were interested in an open room I have available for rent. However, when I asked him what was going on with his place, he said he had bed bugs. I am no expert, but from what I understand, those little pests are hard to get rid of and get everywhere. Would I be the a-hole for not wanting to show the room to my friend? How could I know that his situation was properly addressed before coming to my place? My current place has enough challenges as it is without the addition of bed bugs. Not the a-hole. Keep those pests out of your place. They travel on clothes, in suitcases, inside furniture, and multiply like crazy. Unless he has a signed certificate from an exterminator that his current place has been properly fumigated, then he would be out of luck in my opinion. Am I the a-hole for telling my friend it is illegal to claim she is a realtor when she does not have a real estate license? My 30-year-old female, friend Susie, 29-year-old female, recently told me she has been representing herself as a licensed agent and realtor to people despite not having completed the licensing exam. She works with a licensed broker named Bob who handles the legal aspects of transactions, but she is still telling people she is a realtor without having the credentials. When I saw a text where she admitted this, I told her that misrepresentation is illegal and that falsifying a license is a serious offense. I explained that this could potentially get both her and Bob in trouble, since realtor is actually a protected term for members of the National Association of Realtors. She got defensive and said, "I do not care," and that it is not really a lie, and it is so minor. She claims she's just using the term to make their brand sound more legitimate, and that she is not proactively saying she's a realtor to people in town. But in an earlier message, she clearly said, yes, when I asked if she's telling people she's a realtor, and she was sending a text to her friend reminding him that she is a realtor. She also has stated on their brokerage website that she got her license in 2024. I recently saw this and said you need to edit that out because you cannot tell people you are a licensed agent, and she said she was planning to take it out. She eventually messaged saying it seems like she struck a nerve, and that she's not doing anything that puts Bob or our business at risk, because she's not handling deals or writing offers. She ended by saying, laughing out loud, "I do not care," when I reminded her that misrepresentation and falsifying a license is illegal. I feel like I was just looking out for her by warning about potential legal consequences, but she is acting like I'm being ridiculous and overreacting. It makes me feel sick to imagine my friend deceiving people like this, and to have complete disregard for the rules. To me, there is zero benefit to her lying. Am I the bad person for calling her out on this? What should I do here? Not the a-hole. You would be surprised how common it is. This happens in many large brokerages that hire assistants who are not fully licensed yet, and puts them to work under a real realtor who signs all the forms. Am I the a-hole for not taking my sisters back to our condominium? We live on the 22nd floor. Our parents are out of the country right now and have been for a couple of weeks. There was an earthquake a week ago. I, who am 18 years old, just grabbed my sisters, who are 13 and 11, and ran down the fire escape. I called our mom, who instructed us to drive to our aunt's place and stay there. The next morning, I called the condominium administrator, who said that our building does not have any cracks and we can return. However, our aunt did not want us to go home right away and asked me to stay for an extra couple of nights. My sisters wanted to go home right away, though, because of stiff necks and backs from sleeping on the sofa. So I called my mom, who told me it was my decision. I ended up deciding to wait for an extra few days. I told them to stay at our aunt's while I went to buy them a couple of pillows. On the fourth day, I got a call from one of my friends at the condominium, saying that a team of engineers inspected the building and determined that it is safe. So I drove them back, checked with the administrator, and we moved back in. They are still talking about stiff backs, though. Not the a-hole. It is unfortunate that they were uncomfortable for a few days, but they will get over it. Honestly, it just sounds like they are being dramatic for the sake of it. Am I the a-hole for asking my mom to pay to attend my wedding? My mom chose to give up her parental rights when I was 10 months old to be with a man she met and move to another state. She came back into my life when I was 4 after they broke up, and was in and out throughout my childhood. When she would come back, she was extremely abusive both emotionally and physically. My father was also not perfect. He was an alcoholic. I was put into foster care a few times, and my mom never showed up to any of the court dates. When I was 14, she found God and remarried an extremely hardcore religious man she met at church. Her husband has always disliked me, stating that I could not live with them because I did not follow the path of God. They have never helped me with anything financially, and she never even paid child support. Fast forward to 2 years ago, she and her husband have had 3 daughters, aged 12, 10, and 7 as of right now. My mom asked me to buy her restaurant for $25,000. It got to the point where she was begging me, trying to convince me it was a great business investment, that she had so many offers and wanted to keep it in the family. She claimed I would be making $100,000 a year. She did not know her husband had texted me months earlier saying their business was failing, and he wanted me to help them turn it around. I told her I was tired of her contacting me only when she needed something. She then had my sisters call me and leave voicemails asking why I was ignoring them and not visiting. I got engaged in June of last year, and my fiancé's family offered to contribute $15,000 for the wedding. My dad matched that, and my fiancé and I are putting in around $10,000. My fiancé has a large family, and I only have about 10 people on my dad's side of the family. My mom found out about our wedding from Facebook and offered to fly out my aunts, her daughter, and both grandparents. They all live in Thailand, so I was really grateful to be able to have them there. I have always had a pretty good relationship with them and would not be able to afford all their flights here without her help. I was ready to bury the hatchet just to have them attend. My dad's family made it very clear that they did not want to pay for her and her family. I asked her if she could cover the expenses for just herself, her husband, and her family, and she told me she could only contribute $1,000 because she had to pay for her children's private school. With catering, bar, and rentals, everything ends up being around $200 to $50 per person. When I told her this, she said I should expect that everything else would be covered by gifts from guests. I do not want to seem ungrateful and selfish for telling my own mom and family that they cannot come to my wedding because they will not contribute enough money. But I really do not want other people, especially my father, to pay for her to be there when she has never helped me with anything in the past. Am I wrong for telling her she cannot come unless she contributes more money? You are not the a-hole, but her money is not worth it. She is lucky she even got an invitation to your wedding.